Have you ever wondered what's inside of these disposable cameras? Hi guys, I'm Tony from Shutter Junkies Photo Lab, and we develop tons and tons of disposable cameras every single day, as well as 35mm film, 120 film, and even large format film. And if you've ever been curious about what goes into one of these disposable cameras, let's take just a minute, crack this one open, and see what we can find. Okay, for this particular Fuji Quicksnap, it actually has a little hand strap attached to the side. If you didn't know it, there is a spot where you can put a strap in case you want to pick one of these up from Amazon. Sometimes when you order these from places like Amazon, they'll include these as a bonus to try to increase the price. So we're just going to remove that really quick. And with that strap taken off, now it's time to get started. And the very first thing we need to do is to remove the film and the battery. If you look at the bottom of your FujiFilm Quicksnap, you'll notice two very small white marks. These are not just random test marks. These are actually where we insert the screwdriver to remove the film and the battery. So let me grab my screwdriver and we'll crack this one open. So with your screwdriver, you're going to take and insert it into this little spot. This is easier to do when I'm not filming, and just pry up. And there is your film. Of course, we want to make sure that it's fully exposed. And then all you have to do is turn this over and the film comes out. And this is just a standard 35mm film roll. This is what they preload into these cameras, and it is just the same as any other 35mm film you might buy somewhere else. The Fuji ones, you can tell it's Fuji if it says 27 exposure, ISO 400, and is black. Kodaks are also black and white, but they are ISO 800, and they don't have exactly the same label, so they're slightly different. One thing to watch for on this is when you do crack this open, sometimes this little plastic piece here can break, and then it will actually prevent your film roll from sliding out. So always kind of keep an eye on that. Next, there is a battery inside of this. So we're gonna stick our screwdriver in here, and if I can find the spot, it's usually right there. There it is. And we're just gonna pry up, and on the FujiFilm Quicksnaps, there is a AAA battery. These batteries are not the best batteries, but it's a great way to kind of get a free AAA in case you need them. We have a ton of kids. We go through these batteries like crazy, so we actually pull these out and reuse them so they don't end up in a landfill. So once you have these two things popped open, that's all of the user serviceable parts that are inside of the camera. Next, we're gonna try to work on getting this camera popped open, and that's a little bit of work. I'm gonna do it off camera, but we're gonna pop the back piece off as it is one piece, and the front piece is also a separate part. And to do that, I'm gonna peel this label off, and then I'll get back with you guys in a second. And the label on these Fuji Quicksnaps are they're very thin and very, very adhesive, and they're not stretchy at all, so they're very prone to tear. So peeling one off is a little bit difficult. I've actually gotten pretty good at it over the years, but you can peel it off. You just have to be slow and careful, and it will come right off. If you're going to buy these for a wedding and you want to remove this wrap to install your own custom wrap, you can do that, but you just need to be very careful pulling them off. A hair dryer or maybe a low power heat gun would probably help a little bit, but these are extremely easy to tear and extremely difficult to get off because they are just so sticky. All right, now we have the naked camera, and I'm going to pop the back off, and then we'll take a look at what's inside. One of the things to notice is on this camera, the reason Fuji Quicksnaps are not able to be reused is because this little spot right here is actually a piece of, in this little spot, they are welded plastic. So the plastic from the front side comes through and they melt it down to make it flush, and there's no way to get these off. If you break them, you can't re-stick them back together, and there's no way to get them off without breaking them. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and we'll take a look at what's inside. Okay, well, I lied. I tried to take the back off, and for some reason on this one, the front popped off. Very, very easy. It's just an empty plate. There's nothing here, nothing on the back side. But once you get this front cover off, you see what's inside the camera. And what we have here are the front-facing parts. This is your sliding button that you use to open up to turn on the flash. This is the part, a piece of plastic. And if you look really closely, right here are the contacts that when you push up, it pushes it down and it charges the capacitor. There are several electronics in here. They run power from the battery up into this board. This is the contact switch, and it will power the capacitor, and the capacitor powers the flash. Now, you do need to be extremely careful when taking these apart, because even if the battery's removed, that capacitor inside can still store power. And if you were to complete the circuit, it has a lot of voltage and it would shock you severely bad. I've had employees not paying attention that have accidentally touched that and burnt their fingers very badly, and it gives you quite a jolt. What you'll notice here is this little plastic. This is just a piece of plastic, and I think we can pop this out. Let's see if I can get it out of there. Normally it pops right out. It's not going to pop out today. Oh, this one slides up. That's right, my bad. So this one slides right up, and that removes this little lens that makes part of your viewfinder. There's a secondary part of the viewfinder that actually fits in right here, but it is part of this larger plastic piece. So what you'll see here is your winder. You can see where it clicks. This is your counter, and this is your plastic lens. You can remove the lens. They do just pop off, and you can actually reuse these. The cover comes off. Here goes the cover. So there's the cover. It's off. And now these little plastic lenses, they just fall right out. You can, there's lots of people that 3D print lenses for DSLRs that use these so they can get more of a disposable look. I just dropped it. Whoops. It's over here somewhere. That's all right. We don't need it. So that was the lens. And without that, all you have is just this very tiny hole. So I'm going to pull the electrical board off and pull the flash out, and let's see what's underneath. All right, so I've pulled the board out, and as you can see, I'm being careful. I don't want to touch this is the capacitor I was talking about, and if you make contact with these two, you can get shocked pretty bad. They do store power, and it has a lot of voltage. You can see the little connectors that go to charge everything, and there's some electronics on the back. These are the only electronics inside of the camera. These boards used to be a lot more simple, and they have become quite complex over time. As you can see, there's several different components on there, but that is your charger board. This is your red light that you see light up, and that's pretty much it for the circuitry within this camera. Again, I can't tell you enough, be careful with this capacitor. Now back to the body, we have this little plastic prism that pushes up and that red light illuminates. And then you can just see that pretty much all the front part of the camera has been pulled away. So let's get the back cover off and we'll keep going. Okay, back cover's been removed. Like I told you, these are little plastic welds and they have to be broken off. And so this can't ever be put back on, but this is just a simple cover and there's not much to this part at all. Back to this, here we see the camera body. This is where your film goes, and most people don't know this, but film is actually loaded into a disposable camera backwards. Your film is completely pulled out of the roll, and it's wound up in here, and as you wind it, you're actually winding the film back into the actual cartridge. Here you can see the shutter. This little sprocket actually sticks in the sprocket holes, and as you pull the film across, it will eventually stick, and it is armed and ready to shoot. And if you look through, my button's gone, but if you look through here, this is where your shutter actually is, and it's just a very simple plastic shutter, and you just press it and it clicks and opens, and that's pretty much how this camera works. As you pull the film back across, there's a series of gears that are all connected, and those gears are what tell you your count, and as your film drags across, it actually arms the shutter. And oh, well, I just lost a piece. But that is the extent of what is inside one of these Fuji Quicksnap disposable cameras. Some simple electronics, some very simple plastic mechanical pieces, very little metal. That's just a few springs, and the rest of it is just plastic. Now, the Kodak disposable cameras, which I'll probably do another video on those later, are similar, but actually the Kodak cameras are quite a lot easier to get into, and Kodak disposable cameras are actually reusable, and so we prefer them just because they don't produce as much waste. Some of this plastic can't really be recycled. The Fuji Quicksnaps are the hardest ones to reuse and recycle, so keep that in mind when you're shopping. But if you've ever been curious about what's inside a disposable camera, that's it. So if you've got some of these and you need them developed, ship them to us at shutterjunkies.org. You can purchase online, you're processing, scanning, we can do prints, and we'll get your cameras developed and back to you pretty quickly. And we love disposable cameras. They are the most fun, and we hope you guys remember to keep shooting film and have fun with every shot you take. Thanks, guys.